Good afternoon, welcome to Legends. Well, it's Bank Holiday Monday afternoon, which means it's time for some cabaret. So please put your hands together and welcome to stage the best in the business, Mr. Phil Starr.
Your coat and grab your hats, leave your worries on the doorstep, just direct your feet to the sunny side of the street. Can't you hear that bit of hats? That happy tune is your step. Life could be so sweet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with my blues on parade. It's a rover, crossed over. I never had a cent. I'd be rich as Rockefeller. Gold dust at my feet on the sunny side of the street. I used to walk in the shade with my blues on parade. Oh, I'm not afraid. It's a rover, crossed over. If I never had a cent, I'd be rich as Rockefeller. Going out at my feet on the sunny side, on the sunny side, on the sunny side of the street. Yes, sir. Thank you very much and welcome to a holiday, bank holiday Monday here at Legends in Brighton and Hove District Council and all the fucking rest of it. Let's red the fucking joints. Oh, too late, somebody's beaten us to it. It's... what a lovely day, isn't it? What a lovely day for rushing into Buckingham Palace and shouting out to the Queen, pack your bags and fuck off, isn't it? Do you know I'm thinking of giving up drag?
Are you?
I am. When I saw the paper, I'm thinking of going on the game.
Oh.
Yes. Well, did you see the paper? Did you see that fucking old tart that lovely little Wayne Rooney was going with? Do you see the state of her? 52 years old and a face like a back of a fucking buzz. They say beauty skin deep. She must have been inside out that one. Oh, there's a fucking chance for me yet. Good God, you know. And no, well, actually one of my neighbours, she's on the game. She's ever so lovely woman. And the other morning she came into me, oh, she was distraught. Absolutely distraught. And she said to me, oh, I'm ever so bad. I said, what's wrong? She said, well, you know, I have this habit every time a client leaves. She said, I'll sit up in bed and have a fag to relax. I said, there's nothing wrong with that. She said, well, I had the fag in my mouth and I dozed off. And the fag fell in between me legs. And she said, I could smell this singeing. She said, it's burnt me money box. So, I said, oh, how does that mean you'll be off work for a while? She said, I'll have to have several weeks off. She said, I don't know what I'm going to live on or pay the rent. So I said, well, could you claim on your insurance? So she said, well, I'm not really sure. I said, well, pop down and see your insurance broker, see what he says. So she went down to see him, she came back, so she said, oh, I did all right. I said, why was that? He said, well, I explained the position to him, and he said, well, actually, you could claim on your industrial insurance. She said, industrial? He said, well, yes, you've burnt the roof off your workshop. And of course, what else is in that? Wasn't that dreadful about the floods? since I've seen you last. Oh, weren't they dreadful? What was that place called? What was it called? Boss Castle or something, wasn't it? Did you see that on the telly? I'd never heard of the fucking place before, did you? I mean, fancy having the village in a valley like that. Fucking hills on both sides like that. Obviously the fucking water's going to come down, isn't it? But, and did you see the people though being interviewed on there? There was that lovely couple who got that lovely hotel there. Beautiful oldie world hotel, and there was a young couple staying there on their honeymoon that had their first night on those floods. And in the morning when he woke up, he said to his new bride, "Did the earth move for you last night?" She said, "No, but the fucking hotel did." Do you know the other thing I was surprised with as well? I didn't realise when I watched the telly that still there's so many unexploded bombs around. After all these years, wouldn't you think they'd have found them all and rounded them up? But I read in the paper that these two council workers were working on this building and they found 3 unexploded bombs. And one of them said to the other, he said, "What are we going to do with them?" He said, "Well, put them in a wheelbarrow and we'll take them down to the police station." He said, "Well, supposing one of them goes off?" He said, "Well, we'll tell him we only found 2. It figures, doesn't it? So you don't think of these things, do you? And my next door neighbour now, she's ever so sweet, and she always asks me for advice whenever, you know. She said, "I'm having trouble with my husband." I said, "Oh, he's not beating you, is he?" So she's always got that much life in him, she said. She said, "We're just not compatible these days." So I said, "Well," I said, "have you tried to, try sending him down to the doctors or something?" So she said, "Well, I'm going to take him down this afternoon." So anyway, evidently what happened, the doctor said to him, "Now listen," he said, "there's nothing wrong with you physical, there's no reason why you shouldn't get the urge now and again. You've got lovely misses there, and well, the best you can get anyway, the way you look." And he said, "But you've lost your sexual rhythm." He said, "What do you mean sexual rhythm?" He said, "Oh, you've got to have the rhythm." He said, "That's what goes with it. That's what turns you on." So he said, "Is it really?" He said, "Well, how do I get it back?" He said, "It's about practice. Practice." He said, "I'll tell you what to do every evening when you get in." He said, "Strip off." He said, "You put 10p there, 10p there, balance them, you see. 50p in your navel and £1 down your knickers. And all you do in front of the mirror, just every night for a few minutes, do 10p, 10p, 50p, £1. 10p, 10p, 50p, £1. And you'll get your sexual rhythm back." So he tried it every night, Monday to Thursday. Friday he came and he's in front of the mirror doing 10p, 10p, 50p, £1. And his missus passed by the bedroom door. She said, "What the fuck are you doing?" He said, "I'm trying to get me sexual rhythm back." She said, "Oh, for fuck's sake, she get on that bed and let's try it out." So they got on the bed. He was doing ever so well. 10p, 10p, 50p, £1. 10p. She said, "Could you go faster?" He said, 10p, 10p, 50p. Faster, she said, 10p, 10p, 50p. Faster, he said, "Oh, fuck it, 170, 170, 170. You're nobody till somebody cares. You may be king, you may possess the world and its gold, but gold can't bring you happiness when you're growing old. The world will be the same, you're never changing. Sure as the stars shine above, you're nobody till somebody loves you. So mind your you. You're nobody, just somebody cares. You may be king, you may possess the world and its gold, but gold can't bring you happiness when you're growing old. The world will be the same, you're never changing. And shine as the stars shine above. You're nobody till somebody loves you. So find yourself somebody. Gotta find yourself somebody. So find yourself somebody to love. Do you know, opposite me I've got a lovely old Jewish couple, and they're really, really ancient, you know. I think she's well into her 70s, he's just over 80. And she said to him the other night, she said, Manny, shall we go upstairs and make love? He said, I can't do both. It's what they call a gentle gag. Old but gentle. And two fellas met in the pub the other night, and they're ex-lorry drivers, and one of them said to the other, I haven't seen you for ages, mate. He said, yes, it must be quite a while. He said, how are you doing? He said, marvellous. He said, I've got to tell you something. He said, do you remember that time when we went up to Manchester and we stayed at that big guest house? Oh, it was quite sumptuous, and the missus took a shine to you, didn't she? So he said, yes, she did. He said, if I remember rightly, you give her a portion that night, didn't you? He said, well, yes, I did, actually. He said, and when she asked you for your name and address, you gave her mine, didn't you? Oh, he said, yeah, I'm ever so sorry I did. He said, oh, don't be sorry, she's just died and left me at the hotel. There was a rich old fella on his deathbed, and he was so wealthy, you know, and he called all his staff round him into the bedroom, and as he looked up from the bed, he was very, very frail, he hadn't got very long to live, and he called for his butler, and he said, Jenkins, he said, you've been ever so good, you've been with me a long time. He said, I want to repay you for all your service with me. He said, and I've left you one of my mansions, it's called Caxton Hall. He said, 42 bedrooms. He said, oh, thank you so much, it's very kind of you, sir. And he looked out and he said, and my faithful cook, he said, Myrtle. She said, oh, yes, sir. And she came running forward to the bed and he said, Myrtle, you've been with me all these years. He said, in fact, you were with my father as well. And if I remember rightly, my father used to give you one in the pantry, didn't he? And she said, oh, sir. He said, well, I'd like to repay you for all your service, he said. I've left you Surrey Hall, he said, 32 bedrooms. She said, oh, thank you kindly, sir, ever so nice of you. And he looked over, his little Irish chauffeur stood there, he said, Paddy, he said, well, what can I say? He said, you've been with me 6 months. And in that time, in 6 months, you crashed the Land Rover, you've written off the Mercedes. He said, the Rolls Royce you left in the ditch. He said, I've got to be honest with you, I've left you fuck all. He said, thank you very much, sir. And how many bedrooms has that got? people will do towards the end though. There was a lovely lady locally who had a few bobs, she did, and she knew she was passing away. She had a younger husband than herself, and she knew darn well that he was having it off on the quiet with another woman. And so before she sort of got very bad, she called in an artist, and she said to the artist, I would like for you to paint my portrait. He said, certainly. She said, I haven't got long to go. She said, and I want you to do a very good job on this portrait. She said, I want for you to paint in a beautiful diamond tiara. She said, just like the Queen's. She said, fucking stones everywhere. And she said, I want the necklace. She said, not just a small one, a fucking choker. Diamonds like you've never seen. She said, if I hold my hand up like that, I want groins on every finger. Fucking great big stones like Elizabeth Taylor would give her life for. And so he said, yes. He said, certainly. He said, but why do you want them all painted in if you haven't got them? She said, because when I pass away, she said, that fucking woman he's having it off with, I don't care if she has the car, I don't care if she has the house, but she'll go fucking Michigan looking for these fucking children. Fish gonna swim and birds gonna fly. I'm gonna love one man till I die. Can't help loving that man of mine. Maybe he's lazy, maybe he's slow, maybe I'm crazy. Well, maybe I know, 'cause I can't help loving that man of mine. When he goes away, that's a rainy day, but when he comes back, the day is fine, the sun will shine, 'cause he can come home as late as can be. Home without him ain't no home to me, 'cause I can't help loving that man of mine. When he goes away, that's a rainy day, but when he comes back, the day is fine, the sun will shine, 'cause he can come home as late as can be. Home without him ain't no home to me, 'cause I can't help loving that man all mine. Thank you, you're a lovely crowd today, you really are. Do we have any celebrations in today? Any birthdays, weddings, anniversaries, divorces? Anything going on at all? Fuck all, we'll pass on quickly. Greeny's given up smoke. Have you given up smoking, dear? Oh, you've stopped rolling your own now, have you, dear? Oh, it was very sensible. It's a dirty habit to start with. It was... Do you know, my mother always used to say to me, she used to say, count your blessings, whatever Mother Nature has bestowed on you. And I never even thought of that, but she used to say to me, now you look at Liberace. She said, Mother Nature, she said, kissed his fingers, and he became a pianist. And she said, Sinatra, Frank Sinatra, Mother Nature kissed his tonsils, and he became a singer. She said, a very famous one. And I thought to myself, I wonder where she kissed Lester Pigger then. Don't you wonder, doesn't it? I just thought, I'll wait for the laughter to lie down. So I don't think so. But, you know, I mean, as a family, you know, there were three of us, and three of us children was myself, my sister, and my brother, Margaret. My sister did very well, really. She was always interested in gardening. Loved anything to do with horticulture, she was there. She was a right horticulturist. When she passed out from this horticultural college, you know, she passed out all very high marks, and she thought, I've got to get a job. So she looked in one of these farming papers and she saw an advert in Devon, and she said, oh, I'm going down there. I said, you sure you'll be able to be alright? Will you settle down there? She said, anything to do with farming I love. So she got down there and she had an interview with the old farmer, and as she walked through the farm gates, there he was, you know, right old fucking yokel he was. And my sister was a city girl, you know, long blonde hair and 6-inch heels and black fishnets, and she said, I've come for the interview for the job, and he took one look and he said, oh, he said, you don't look like you've been doing no farming, or words to that effect. She said, well, don't let the looks fool you. She said, I passed out from agricultural college, 95%. She said, I'm conversant in everything to do with farming. He said, well, I've got to be fair with you. He said, I'll tell you what I'll do. He said, I'll be going out in the fields and I'll leave you in the farmyard. He said, I want you, he said, clean out the pigs, feed them, clean out the chickens, collect the eggs, feed them, do all the jobs, and he said, and then sweep up right the way through. He said, if you've done a good job, when I'll get back, I'll take you on. Well, my sister, oh, did she fucking work? Oh, she thought those heels were down to 3 inches. They were. And she, oh, he was most impressed when he came back. He said, oh, you have done a good job, you have. He said, I'll take you in the farmhouse and meet the missus. Well, the missus of the farm, typical farm lady, you know, beard and brogues and a moustache, you know. She said to my sister, she said, I'm pleased to meet you. My sister said, oh, she said, I wonder if I could ask you. She said, I've been doing all the dirty jobs. Any chance I could have a bath? So the old girl said, oh, we don't be having no baths down here. We don't have running water. She said, we get bath out, tin bath, Saturday night. She said, when the old man's gone dark match, I'll get it out. We has a bath then. So my sister said, well, I can have a wash down till then. So anyway, when Saturday night came round, the old man went off to the dance and the old girl got the tin bath out. She filled it all up, and she said to me, you don't mind if I sit here and watch you while you're having your bath, do you? So my sister said, no, it's quite all right, I'm not embarrassed in any way. So anyway, my sister took her blouse off and everything. The old girl said, oh, she said, oh, isn't that funny? So my sister said, what are you talking about? She said, you've got no hair underneath your arms. No hair underneath your arms, you haven't got. So she said, well, no, she said. In the city, we shave them off. We go to dances, we wear low-cut dresses. And the old girl said, oh, I've never just seen nothing like that before. Oh, I must tell my butt about that when he gets home. So when my sister dropped her skirt and her drawers, the old girl nearly fell out the rocking chair. She said, you've got no hair around your whammy either. Oh, not even a bristle, she said. So my sister said, it's one of those idiosyncrasies I have. I shave them off. Oh, she said, I'll never to see nothing like that before. Oh, I must ask my Bert about that when he gets home. He'll be tickle pink. So that night when the old man came home from the darts match, she said, oh, that'd be a funny girl you took on there. Do you know she got no hair underneath her arms, and she got one arm round her and the eye. He said, God, you must be blind. She said, I'm telling you. She said, I'll tell you what I'll do next Saturday night when you goes to dart match. She said, I'll leave the curtains open a bit. You nips back and have a look. He said, well, I wouldn't mind having a look at that. So the following Saturday night came round, he went off to the dark match, she got the bath ready, my sister got ready, and the old girl sat there and said, you know, I can't get over you. She said, no hair underneath your arms and no around your waist, you haven't got not even a whisker. She said, oh, I can't get over it. She said, us country girls, we let everything grow natural. And with that she dropped her drawers. Well, it looked like the Dulux dog. The old man came home that night. The old man came home that night. Oh, he did have the hump. And she said, what's wrong with you? She said, didn't you nip back and see that girl? No hair underneath her arms, none round her one. He said, I saw her. And very beautiful she be too. He said, there's no need for you to drop your drawers, was there? She said, well, you've seen it all before. He said, I had, but the fucking darts team had. The red robin comes bobbing along. There'll be no more sobbing when he starts throbbing his old sweet song. Wake up, you sleepyhead, get up, get out of bed, cheer up, the sun is red, live, laugh and be happy. What if skies are grey, I'll be walking through fields of flowers. Train may glisten, but still I'd listen for hours and hours. I'm just a kid again, doing what I did again, singing this song. When the red robin comes bobbing along. Pack up all my cares and woe, here I go, singing low. Bye, bye, blackbird. There's somebody waits for me, sugar is sweet and so is he. Bye, bye, blackbird. No one here can love or understand me. Oh, what love stories they all had me. I make my bed like the lights, I'll arrive late tonight. Blackbird, bye-bye. When the red robin comes bobbing along, there'll be no more sobbing when he starts throbbing his old sweet song. Wake up, you sleepyhead, get out of bed, cheer up, the sun is red, live, love and be happy. What if skies are grey, I'll be walking through fields of flowers. Rain may glisten and still I'd listen for hours and hours. I'm just a kid again, doing what I did again, singing this song. When the red robin comes bobbing, red robin comes bobbing, red robin comes bobbing along. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, you know, isn't it nice when you happen to bump into somebody that you haven't seen for ages? And it just about happened the other night in one of our local pubs. Two fellas bumped into each other and one of them said to the other, he said, it's got to be 10 years since I've seen you. He said, easily. He said, in fact, the last time I saw you, we were both made redundant, weren't we? So he said, yes, we were. He said, you're not looking too good, he said to one. He said, bit down at here, you got all that money for your redundancy. He said, I know, I squandered it. He said, women, drink, holidays and that, it's all gone. He said, I'm fucking skint, I'm on the dole. He said, but you're looking very prosperous. He said, is that a camel overcoat you got on? He said, yes. He said, I'm doing quite well. He said, well, what did you do with your money? He said, I'll tell you what I did. He said, I lived in Manchester, but I came to London and I bought this big house. He said, and I'll tell you, he said, when I got the house, I thought, I'm going to have to earn money out of it because I'm scared to spend all the money on the house. So he said, what I did, he said, I specialised. On the ground floor, I specialised in homosexuality. And on the first floor, I specialised in prostitution. And on the top floor, I had the paedophiles up there. So he said, really? He said, oh yes, it was hard going at first. There was only myself, the wife and the kids. It's all part of life. That's a good one for Dame Edna, isn't it? We had a couple of requests this morning. As usual, I was leaving until I'm sort of well into the act, you know, hoping that you're going to start laughing first. If you don't, well, we make a hasty retreat, don't we, dear? So, yes, please. This is a little request for some boys that come in very regular to see me. And I'm always pleased to see people that come in all the time, you know. Because, I mean, I'm extra special to see people that haven't seen me before because they don't know the fucking gags, you know. Nice to have a strange audience. So, oh dear, oh, you've dropped a drop, haven't you, dear? Never mind. It's when you saw me, wasn't it? All of a sudden your hand shook, didn't it? Yes, well, don't waste it, dear. And, this is a little request for some boys that, a long-standing affair. They met last week in Chiswick.
Who traveled out my door. I'm glad they came along. I dedicate this song to all the boys I've loved before. To all the boys I once caressed. And may I say I've had the best. To all the boys I've loved before. The winds of change are always blowing, and every time I try to stay, the winds of change continue blowing, and they just carry me away. To all the boys who shared my life, I never ever lost their wife. I'm glad they came along. I dedicate this song to all the boys I've loved before. To all the boys who cared for me, who shared my nights of ecstasy, and live within my heart. I'll always be a part of all the boys I've loved before. The winds of change are always blowing, and every time I try to stay, the winds of change continue blowing, and they just carry me away. To all the boys we've loved before, who travelled in and out our door, we're glad they came along. We dedicate this song to all the boys we've loved before. I just intersperse gags with songs just to make it a bit different, you know, it helps it along, doesn't it? Load of fucking crap anyway, but still. It's, and the other request I had was because people love this story, because sometimes you might know, I have a friend, an elderly old queen that lives on her own, you know, probably Maisie, and it's... You did ask. It's no, it's no. I mean, I've got this friend. You know, she's just retired, bless her heart, all on her own, elderly old queen. You know, and this is a request actually, but she has worked 27 years in the same job. 27 years. She worked in the gentleman's toilet in Leicester Square. Underneath the ground. She was like a fucking mole. She never saw daylight, poor soul. No wonder she had bad eyes. And she could see what she wanted to see, but... no, I mean, you know, I said to her the other day, I said, do you miss the job? So she said, oh no, she said, I don't. 27 years I was down that gentleman's loo. I said, I know what it's like, dear. I know what you have to put up with. All that fucking graffiti people put down there, that she had to rub it all out, you know. Oh, I hate those that go in there and put Simon, you know, blowjobs or something like that, and gives the number under. I think it's fucking disgusting. He's never in when I ring. Yes, I said, surely you must miss it after 27 years. Oh no, she said. When I look back all those years, she said, we used to get a better class of customer. She said they had class in those days. She said, now what you get? The youngsters come in here, they're sniffing glue, she said, playing with each other, snorting up drugs, she said. Oh, she said, I don't know what I was going to do, she said. Do you know, she said something, when somebody comes in for a genuine shit, it's like a breath of fresh air. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hands. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love you. Fly me to the moon and let me sit upon the stars. Let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars. In other words, hold my hand. In other words, darling, kiss me. Fill my heart with song and let me sing forevermore. You are all I long for, all I worship and adore. In other words, please be true. In other words, I love a little advertisement, you know. Don't forget on the, oh, it's not on there. What date is Maisie doing the race night? Friday. What do you say? Friday the 10th. Friday the 10th of September. Oh yes, we're having a race night here in Legends. And of course, the horses won't run through here. You know. I was hoping they would do, actually. I could do with some shit for my rhubarb. It's ever so good for rhubarb, you know. And roses. And roses. And so, just the thing I've always found with those cowboy films, you know. All them fucking horses, you know. Don't you? All that rose, all that shit. And you never see any roses on there, do you? Never seen roses. Just thought I'd mention it. It's on the screen, you see. They have horses running across the screen, and they're videos, and they're sealed, so nobody knows what the outcome is. Yes, you are. Yes, it's very, very lifelike. Yes, yes. It's a good one over that, isn't it? Prettier than usual. Oh, fuck me, she's not running that fast, is she? No, but that's what it is. That's good, isn't it? You see the horses running, and you bet on them. You bet on them, lose your fucking money, you know. But it's all in aid of a good cause, isn't it, Jess? What is it? Maisie's retirement fund. Something like that, anyway. That's Friday the 10th. It should be a good laugh, anyway. All pop down, you know, and have a look, you know. If you've got a few pop, you only have to bet shillings, don't you, on it, or whatever, you know.
Fivers.
Pardon? Don't you get a shilling? No, it's a 5p, isn't it, a shilling? I call it a shilling, you know, but it's a 5p, you know. My dad used to give us one of them every week for pocket money. Yes, no, he had a little box put on the wall. He said, if you put your money in there every week, you'll have money to start off with. Do you know, it wasn't until I was 16 I found out it was the fucking gas meter. Yes, all my family did well, really. My brother, he was quite well known, my brother, you know. And I mean, actually, my brother, you see, he was the hide and seek champion of 1952. Yes, we haven't fucking seen him since. And my father, you know, one Christmas he bought me a crossbow. Have you ever used a crossbow? Oh, they're ever so good, you know. And I said to my sister, if you stand against that tree, I'll put an apple on your head, and we'll do William Tell. So I put the arrow in this crossbow. Did it fucking go? Do you know, she'd have lived, she'd have been 52. She would have been. I was an unwanted child. You can always tell when you're unwanted, can't you? You know, just something tells you, doesn't it? I always remember, you know, do you remember that film, you know, of course it was called The Birds, with one of them Alfred Hitchcock films, do you remember that? Yes. Yes, I woke up one morning with the windows wide open, my bed was covered in breadcrumbs. Terrible, isn't it? I was never happy at school. I hated school. I was so unhappy at school. Yes, I remember the teacher one day, she said to me, what are you crying for, cock? I said, yeah. I knew you'd sympathise with me. My mother was a lady barrister, you know. Yeah, she dropped her briefs in Piccadilly one night and now she's a solicitor. Oh, I'm digging them up today, dear. Oh, they're all out the bumper fan book, you know. Anyway, you have been lovely today, and we're going to do this next number. Can I have a round of applause separately from me for the lovely pianist, Mr John Bruzon? Never gets applause on his own, do you? He lives in Saltine, John. In case anybody's interested, I'll give you a bit of information, you know. He lives there with his parrot called Florence, doesn't he, dear? Yes. Sits on his shoulder and talks to him, doesn't it, mate? Yes. I'm glad you told me I wasn't going to do that, yes. It was, darling, yes, you're quite right. You'll never know just how much I love you. You'll never know just how much I care. And if I try, I still couldn't hide my love for you. You ought to know, for haven't I told you so a million or more times? You went away and my heart went with you. I speak your name in my every prayer, and if there's some other way to prove that I love you, I'll swear I don't know how. You'll never know if you don't know now. You'll never know just how much I love you. You'll never know just how much I care. And if I try, I still couldn't hide my love for you. You ought to know, why haven't I told you so a million or more times? You went away and my heart went with you. I'll speak your name in my every prayer, and if there's some other way to prove that I love you, I swear I don't know how. You'll never know if you don't know now. Thank you very much. Well, darling, you may leave the room if you wish. Yes. For you, darling, aren't you? Yes, you're not often here. You're over from Spain, aren't you? Yes, lovely. Nice to see you, darling. It's funny how many people go to Spain, isn't it, really? You know, it's a nice country. And It's, no, this lady has actually requested a gag, and it's, I don't know why, but it's, every year on Blackheath, they always have this great big fair, I don't know if you've ever seen it. It's an enormous fair on Blackheath Common, and one evening, quite sort of in the twilight, there were two old queens out for the Constitution. And as they're strolling along the common, one of them says to the other, said, "Old Ruby." Old Ruby. She said, "Look at that big wheel." She said, "Oh yeah," she said, "I see it going round, it goes round." She said, "I know it does." She said, "I like big wheels." So she said, "Oh, you wouldn't go on it, would you, Vera?" So she said, "I would." She said, "You're 82. She said, "I don't care." She said, "I'll go on a big wheel." She said, "Oh, I wouldn't, I'm frightened." She said, "Well, hold my coat when I go on." She said, "Oh, do be careful, dear. Do be careful, dear." So she gets on this big wheel, it goes round and round, and all of a sudden the fucking thing breaks. The whole thing comes down in smithereens. And Ruby runs forward and she said, excuse me, she said, my friend's under all that lot, my friend Vera," she said. And she lifts up this bit of corrugated iron, and there's poor Vera underneath. One eye's right round the back there, one of her arms is hanging off. Oh, the claret is all over the place. And she said, "Speak to me, Vera, speak to me." She said, "Are you all right?" She said, "All right." "Of course I'm not fucking all right," she said. "5 times I went round, then you never waved once." This is our finishing number as usual. Thank you once again for being here. The party's over. It's time to call it a day. They've burst your pretty balloon and taken the moon away. It's time to wind up this masquerade. Just make your mind up. The piper must be paid. The party's over. The candles flicker and dim. You danced and dreamed through the night. It seemed to be right, just being with him. Now you must wake up. All dreams must end. Take off your makeup. The party's over. It's all over, my friend. Well, this is the last holiday before Christmas. So get what belong, will it? Christmas is so near. Yes, I suppose you'll be joining the grotto again with your baby. She'll be down the grotto. Back in knees again. Comes into her own at Christmas, don't it? The party's over. The candles flicker and dim. You danced and dreamed through the night. It seemed to be right, just being with him.
Please, big hand over for the best of the business, Mr.